Robert Barnes here from Spider Machines. Today we're going to look at a proper installation. A common question I get in my world travels is, how do I know my machine is installed correctly? Well, what we've done is we've assembled some simple tools, and we're going to show you a step-by-step technique that I've learned over the years. Some of these recent techniques I've learned from Randy Kettlebetter at the OTS company in Temecula, California. When you get a chance, visit his website, www.theots.com. Today we're going to work with a basic level. Because the center of the machine has a main shaft and the machine rotates around that shaft, we're going to take a simple level, and there's 4 leveling positions on most typical round carousel machines. So obviously if we put the level on any one of the arms and move it to those 4 positions, the bubble should stay the same. If the bubble moves as we go to one side of the machine to the other, then we know the shaft is leaning. So we're going to demonstrate. Okay, so what we've done, we have a magnetic based level, and we've set it on the pallet arm itself. And as you can see, I raise that, the bubble moves. We're not looking for the bubble to be in the center of the lines. We're simply looking for a reference as to where the bubble is. Now that we have the level affixed, we will rotate the pallet to each position around the center of the machine. Okay, now that we've placed the level on the one arm, obviously we have 4 adjustment places on the machine of our center shaft. There's 4 legs that come out from the center. That gives us our adjustment of our shaft. So we're looking to see a deviation between this arm and the level, and as we rotate it to the different stations around the machine. And we inspect the level in each of the 4 places around the machine, and we look that the bubble is in the same relationship between the 2 lines. So if the bubble is touching this line, then it should be touching the same position all the way around the machine. Okay, now that we have a plumb shaft with our level, obviously each head runs on the same linear path as each other in relation to the main shaft. So obviously the head itself should be level to the shaft. Now we look at that with steel tubing. We pick other horizontal lines on the machine to make sure everything is level. We'll also run through some different checks to assure that we have true linear passage back and forth on the head. So we'll move to that next. Okay, basically we're going to be using a simple carpenter's square. Now, we've leveled our shaft. Our head is traveling along a linear path. All of our heads have to travel on the same linear path in relation to the main shaft. So how do we assure that the machine has been installed correctly? We simply take the carpenter's square, we place it, we set it to where it touches our pallet in the front, and we check it to where it touches our pallet in the back. This relationship from here to here should be the same on every head, so that the relationship between here and the pallet are the same. So our squeegee and our flood bar are traveling along the same plane of the pallet, not just in this head, but in every head. Okay, commonly we look at most carousel machines and we want to know that the head, each head, is running center to the pallet, and that each arm or pallet is running center to the head. So a simple test you can do, once again, is take your carpenter's square, find a fixed point on the head that you can reference each head, bring it to the end, and then make a mark on the pallet. We've made a mark on the pallet. Now obviously, if we put this in the same place on each head, and we bring the same pallet to the same position on each head, and raise the table, the bottom should automatically touch on the same line. And that assures us that this arm, as it comes from head to head, all the way around the machine, is in center, that the arms are in center to each other. So the relationship between this linear movement and the pallet and the head are all running true to each other. What we'll do next is we'll show you how to do a center line of your pallet. Okay, we've drawn a center line on all of the pallets. So if you look at it, all the way down on each pallet is a center line. We've made a mark on the flood bar. So what this enables us to do is to move the pallets from position to position, raise them up into the head, and we can see the relationship between each pallet and our mark on our flood bar. So in order to have true repeatable printing on each pallet in location, this is a simple test you can do. One mark, one head, each pallet, center line, bringing it up to the flood bar. Each one raising into the same exact position. Okay, we've installed the flood bar. We've adjusted it down to where it's barely touching the pallet, and we're using a simple business card as a feeler gauge. So we're going to insert the business card to see that the relationship is the same. When we move the carriage to the front, the feeler gauge, the business card, the relationship should be the same all the way. On every pallet, on every head, in every position, this linear test should be the same. The use of a flood bar in one head is a common way in our industry that people level their pallets. The only problem with this is that most installations, this linear path is not the same. So, typically when they level the pallets, they're only leveling them to the one head, and the rest of the heads are not necessarily going to print the same. So, I am an advocate of having all of the pallets the same and all of the heads the same. So we will remove the flood bar and change the way we look at leveling our pallets. We will use a carpenter's square. So we're basically going to place the carpenter's square in the corner. We're going to adjust the carpenter's square to where it touches our head. Okay? Then, a simple way of doing this is to take the carpenter's square, place it in the back, and do the same test. And we do that on both sides of the pallet, all the way around the machine, just like that. And what this accomplishes is this enables us to have every one of these pallets in the same relationship to the head all the way around the machine. And a good test of that is to take the carpenter's square, place it on the head, slide it down until it hits the pallet, and we will spin the pallets, and we'll do that next. Okay, now that we have checked that our shaft is plumb, that all of our heads are running linear to all of our pallets, all of our heads are centered in relation to our pallet arms, and all of our arms are centered in relation to our heads. This test that we're going to do next is the test of all tests, because everything is based on that main axial movement, that center shaft. And the rotation, you should be able to take your carpenter's square, you should be able to find a fixed point on your head, you should be able to adjust the height of it, to just barely clear a business card. The thickness of the business card is our feeler gauge here, and we can then rotate all of the pallets to every position, and you'll notice that not one of the pallets strikes our carpenter's ruler. Okay, well, this concludes our basic test of an installation. I'm Robert Barnes from Spider Machines. Hopefully you learned something today at a simple level, carpenter's square, and a basic business card can tell you a lot about how your machine is installed. We'd like to thank Middletown Inc. for letting us come in and do this demonstration for you on their Printex 8-color 10-station machine. Like I said earlier, thank you to Randy at the OTS company. He was involved in the setup of this machine. We certainly appreciate him, and we appreciate the fine people here at Middletown. And if you have any questions, please visit my website, www.spidermachines.com. Thanks, folks.